Hey there, so in this video I'm going to show you how to use Tshark. And Tshark is basically a sniffer, and it comes in handy in some situations such as, let's say you want to ping yourself. If you're doing a blind request somewhere, you want to ping yourself. So it's great in that sense, and you can also sniff out passwords and a whole bunch of stuff. Now, the reason I would want to use Tshark opposed to Wireshark is Wireshark is basically the main. If you really want to get into it, that's Wireshark's the one you want to open. But Tshark is just like a command line version. It's like a boiled down version, and sometimes I just don't want to open Wireshark. It just seems so much trouble. So Tshark is just nice and simple and very compact. So that's the reason why I'm doing this tutorial, so you can use Tshark opposed to Wireshark if you're kind of lazy like myself. So let's get started. So essentially, some of the commands I want to show you here is probably you want to open up Tshark. So sudo Tshark, and if you want to know what the options are, you type in -h. But I'm going to tell you what some of the great options you have here. So first thing you want to do is you want to type in -i, and you get your interface. Actually, before that, you should actually know what your IP address. So I'm gonna go ifconfig. See what my IP address of this machine is. I can see here it's 104. So I'm gonna try to ping that. And here are interfaces, etho, and so I'm gonna be using these interfaces here. So let's clear. I don't want to clear this. Let's go. I don't think I needed sudo. Let's just see if we can try Tshark. And let's see -h. Okay, I don't really need sudo for this. Or do I? Okay. Yeah, I think I probably need sudo. Sudo tshark -i, and get our interface. And this essentially, etho is essentially, it's basically, it gets if you don't put this in, if you just put tho and no options, then you essentially get everything. And so it's basically receiving like basically all the traffic in the entire network, which you may not wanna do. So what you can do, Control+C, is if there's a specific type of traffic you want, let's say IMC, like first you want to, there are times that you may want to ping yourself if you're doing a blind injection somewhere and you want to know if your request, if what you're doing is getting through, and then you attach it onto a ping, and so if you receive the ping, that means it worked. So let's do this. Let's type in sudo tshark, and ping is basically a ICMP packet. So basically, that's what it's called. So you type in ICP, and it should only filter pings. See, nothing's happening, and I'm just gonna open my Windows. This is I'm using virtual Oracle VirtualBox, and it has its own IP address. The IP address ended with 004. So I'm just gonna open my Windows here, and I'm gonna ping that address here. So ping 192. I remember my IP address 192.168.2, and I believe it's 104 for this machine here, 104. And let's hit enter there. See, it's actually now I'm receiving the ping, as you can see. So, like I said, it's great in the sense if you're doing a blind injection and you want to know if your injection works, so you attach it onto a ping, because sometimes you don't get no return. So that's one thing you can do. Another thing you can do is you can also you can actually specify the port. So let me just clear this first, and you can actually say port and whatever port it is. I guess this case 80. Like 80 is basically the standard HTTPS and HTTP port, so you can actually do that if you want. Hold on. String is invalid, illegal. Port 80. Oh, I thought that was the code. Let me take a look here. Here. Communication hierarchy surface. Here we go. I believe, yeah. Cap port. I think you gotta put it. Okay, that's neither here or there. Suppose that you wanna you want to actually get, where is it, you want to find credentials. So what you can do is you can use this code right here. So you're sniffing for passwords, because I think most of you here are sniffing for passwords or want to sniff for passwords. So let's paste that. Oops. Sudo tshark. It's nr if you're reading a file. So if you're reading a file, it's basically reading files are, but I guess in this case it's nr because you want to input a line number. I'm just gonna put line number 0. Just here, 0. Q means quiet. T means statistics. You want to follow the TCP. TCP is basically the protocol that most HTTP uses. Like basically that's the highway that it uses most times. There's there's UDP, but that's like it's basically for very very fast stuff. So I'm gonna see if this works. I don't know if it's gonna work, but I'm just gonna do tshark dash I etho, and let's do that. Yeah, it looks like it works. So basically, essentially, if you're going to a website and you're trying to type a password in, essentially it's going to capture this, but it's only going to get line 0 though. You may want to do a loop that loops through like from 0 to, I don't know, 5 or so. Let's see what happens. Let's see. Let's go to a website. I don't know. Oops. Google.com. Okay. Anyways, that's the whole point. So it's better to read a file from a PCAP file to get this done. So that's how to read passwords. Let's see what else do I have here. What other goodies do I have here? Obviously here to write to a cap file. If you want to write, so essentially, if you want to sniff and you want to write to something, you would do sudo tshark, and obviously you would have your interface, and you would do -w and the directory where you want to put it. So you want to put in this directory, put -that, and give it a name. Let's say something .pcap. I don't think the extension matters, but I think common convention is supposed to be pcap. And is actually the file which capture saved could not be opened. Okay, yes, because I have no permissions on it. So let's make a file. Let's called let's clear this. Let's make a file. It's sudo chmod, not chmod, but we can open with nano. But what's the other way of creating the touch? Yes, touch, and let's call it something .pcap. There we go. We made the file. It's right there. Something .pcap. Let's clear this so we get the top screen. We give it permissions. So sudo chmod change modification. That's what it means. Chmod 777 means like all permissions. And let's put our file name. So something. I hit tab to autocomplete. So there we go. And if you look at it, it's green now. That means it has all permissions. Now we can run our previous command, which was tshark. Now it's gonna be able to write because I gave it all permissions. Before it had no permission. It basically was denied everything. So now it's recording. So so you can see the numbers increasing. Let's stop that. Let's clear that. So we have that peak. Now if you want to read it, you would do the similar command, except you would do I don't think you need this I anymore because that's the interface. You can do R and then something pcap, and you can actually read the contents of the file here. And essentially, if you want to read, like if you're capturing on an interface and there's some passwords that's going through here, then you would do that at previous command here. Except let me just clear this so you can see it. Let's take a look at previous command. Where was it? Oh, that went too far. Here we go. Follow. So instead of ith, here you want to open up the pcap. Let's say R and then something auto pcap qr, and actually here we can put a number here. It could be 1 or 2, but I'm gonna put 0. And basically, you're essentially looking for passwords in a sense. It'll be a whole list if someone's typing anything down. Okay, that's the end of this file. That's all I wanted to show. Actually, let's do a few more. I have a couple more commands here that they're kind of interesting. This is dsniff hierarchy. Because you don't. That's not really that important. You want to see, I guess you want to see the communications between stuff. Okay, let's look at the filter. The filter is supposed to be a pretty good one to do. So here we go. Here's Tshark filter, and this is, I guess you're uploading it somewhere. Oh no, actually this is actually pretty good. You want to see get and post commands. Read, get, and post. Okay, so this, this one. So here we go. So the Y apparently is a filter. Okay, let's paste this in. Let's clear this. Control V. Oops, not Control V. Control Shift V. And for the moment, we don't need this. This double arrow just appends. Here we go. So this is the command here. It's reading this cap file. Let's say it's read from that previous cap file, right? And Y apparently -Y, a capital Y is apparently a filter, and it's HTTP. And then if you want to put like a space, that basically gets both. You see, there's a space right here. There's a space right there. That gets both get and post request. But if you want to get a get request, maybe it's just get, and that gets the get request. And then if you want to get post request, you do post. And I believe you can also filter by IP addresses. Oops, my mistake. Actually, that's not right. It's supposed to be over here. It's supposed to be method equals get, and then now you can get request or post. That's what it's supposed to be. You can filter by IP addresses if you want. If you're searching for an IP address specifically, so you can do that. It's IP address, and then you equal sign. This is double equal sign right here, and you put the IP address, and so you can actually just look for that specifically. Or if you're looking for a specific word, just go over here and just delete all this. You can do frame contains. Here, frame contains, and then you put the word here. You put in double quotes. Here, this case Facebook. So you have a single quote out here, and then you have your double quotes for the word that you're looking for. And also, as I mentioned earlier, you can actually look for you can listen on a specific port number. Again, we're reading it from this PCAP file. All you do is port, I know 22, and it's actually looking for 22. It didn't find it. Unexpected context. Okay, so if you want to see conversations between computers, then you can actually use this command here. Oops, here. TCP, and you want to put the interface. I use $0 is typically the interface for wireless cards. You can use enter in any interface, ETHO if you want, depending what your THO. And then Q means quiet, Z means statistics, COV means conversations, and then TCP is typically the protocol that most communications occur, especially between conversations. UDP is just basically a one-way traffic for most times, and then TCP is mostly two-way traffic. And it's actually looking here. It's essentially he's looking for. It didn't find anything because in the small PCAP file. But if the PCAP file was bigger, it will actually show the communication between IP addresses in an easy manner. And yeah, and that's it. This is all going to be in the description, and that's the end of this video.